How's it going? All right, a couple days ago I harvested my beets before that snow that we were supposed to get. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do some canning. I'm gonna water bath them, but I'm gonna be using a vinegar and sugar and all that, so they'll be able to stay longer term. Water bathing them this way. So here we go. This is my beets. I'll tell you what's going on. I'm going to take the smaller set of beets. I'll put that one over here. And I just started the water here. And that's going to be water to put the beets in. I've got my water heating up for my cans, my jars. They're in there. What we're going to do is, now, guys, when you pull your beets out, I should have left this a little bit longer, but I think I'm going to be okay. Leave maybe about a ½ inch of where the top is, and do not cut all the way down to into the beet on both ends. Leave it like this. If you do that, cut it, it will do a lot of bleeding in your waters and you'll lose some of your taste. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna stick them in just like this. My roots were probably twice as long. I just cut them down a little bit smaller, and that's what we're gonna do. There you go. So you can see how I left mine. Now they've been scrubbed in the sink, got all the dirt off of them, washed them down real good, they're ready to go. I'm going to do this one first, it's smaller. We're going to set it in here. We should be able to get probably 10 minutes, maybe 10 to 15 minutes ready. I'll show you how you determine if the beets are ready in this water to pull back out. And then what we'll do is put them in another bucket that has cold water with some ice to shut it down. All right, we're about ready. We're about 20 seconds from being 15 minutes. Let's go and take the lid off. Let's grab one. Let's stab it and see what happens. That goes in pretty easy, and it's in there. So I'm going to say that these are done, this group. So I'm going to take out all the ones that's in here, put them in this blue bucket, right here, and then I'll put them in cold water. And then we'll start the process all over again, but we're going to go ahead and do these other ones probably for like 20 minutes. We're going to put them in this water and cool them off. It's kind of almost like blanching them, you would say. Just stopping the cooking process. Start putting all these in. Now the next one we're probably going to check as I pull them out, because some of these are really big. The nice size. Well, first thing you're gonna notice right away is I changed shirts, because beets and wear gloves, because if you don't, your hand's gonna look the color of a beet, and your shirts and everything else. So I've got my gloves on, and I got my compost container. We are gonna start trimming these babies up. What I'm going to do is cut the end off of it, cut this end off of it, and then we're just going to go. Sometimes it's easy just to push like that and it peels, which it did. I've seen people doing it this way, and I've seen people going and dragging a knife across it. Well, right now these are cooked good enough or I don't have to do that. And then we're going to go ahead and put them in this blue bucket. This does take time. This is probably the worst part about the whole thing, this right here. Let's move on to the next one. Now if you had big beets, you don't have to be so perfect with it. You know, it won't take as long. But they're cut nicely and they just peel real easy. Look at that. All right, I'll bring you back when I get all these done. Okay, I got them all done, and these weigh right at about 6.5 to 7 pounds. So I'm thinking that it's going to take probably 12 jars. We will see how it goes. But one more thing I'm going to do though is all right, there we go. I can see the camera. I cut some onions up, and I'm going to put onions in the bottom of all of them. And we're just going to put some in there now. I just love onion. I think I'll add to the taste. We'll get them all in all the jars. All right, I'm going to clean this mess up a little bit here. I have just a little bit of onion left. And I'm going to start slicing these up. If I had small ones, I probably won't even slice a small one. But here you go. I've got, this is one of my bigger beet. And we're just going to go ahead and slice it. Probably going to make it maybe like a 1/4 inch thick. There we go. And continue slicing these. Getting the jars all filled, however way you want to do it. I do have that and it has a small hole. So what we're going to do is just start laying them in here and see where we end up at. After I get all these filled in with the beets and left the rest of my onion, I will bring it back and show you how I'm going to do a brine. Okay. All right, there we go. As you can see, I have got 12 jars. And like I said, that the beets weighed somewhere about right around 6.5 pounds. We've got onions in there on the bottom. As you can see, onions on top. Now I need to do is get my brine going. The goal is to get the brine boiling, have that nice and warm. So what happens is we put the brine in our containers and then put that in our pot. So what we've done in here, I've already got part of this mixed already. In here is already, in fact, let's start this up. This is already 4 cups of water, 4 cups of vinegar. I have 2 tablespoons of canning salt. And I'm fixing to go ahead and dump in. It will be a total of 4 cups of sugar. All right, like I said, we're going to go ahead and add 2 cups of sugar in here. And then we're going to stir it. I'm going to do 2 now. And let's stir that in there. Then I'll add my next 2 cups in a second. About all dissolved already. And all we're going to want to do is once this gets to a boil, after we've added the sugar, we just want it nice, really hot. Then we're going to start adding this into our jars. And here's my next one. Here we go. So I'm just going to keep on stirring this. I've already got my lids over there heating up. Now, guys, I know everybody says you don't have to heat them up. The manufacturer doesn't have to say you have to heat them up. I am just doing it for me to make sure things are clear, everything's clean, we have good contact, and that's what we're going to do. All right, so I'm going to keep stirring this around, and when we've got this to a boil, then we'll bring this on over and we'll start filling it up. All right, let's start adding our fluids in here. They tell you not to put nothing, I think it was a 1/2 inch gap in airspace. And there we go. Let's keep putting it in there. Gonna have just enough. All right, let me go get the stirring stick. Move it around, get as much air out of there as you can. All right, let's go top them off. See, that one looks pretty good. This one here needs more. There we go. Next thing, we're just gonna wipe down the rims a little bit. Make sure they're nice and clean. All right, look at that. That was stuck on a rim. That's why we do this. Now let's get to our lids. Let's get them all on. All right, now we get our lids, our rings. Let's get all our rings on. And never ever bring it tight. I go touch it and I turn it just a little bit more and I'm done. All right, let me get all these back in there and I will turn this on in a minute. Here's the deal, guys. If you are going to can your beets, just the beets, you cannot water bath because beets are very low in acid and something else. So you have to pressure can them. But if you add vinegar, which I did, then you can water bath them, but we have to water bath them at a boil for 35 minutes. All right, guys, I went out to go take care of the animals and I had set my jars in here and they've all popped already. I was wanting to hear the sound of music of canning, but you can see they're all popped. They all have a good seal. I can pick that one up. I don't know if you can see it. Trying to find a good way. There's your beets and onion in there. They all look great. Hey, Willow, what are you doing, babe? You want to say hi to anybody? What you doing, sweetheart? You, my good